Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of TFT Study Hall with your hosts. My name is Frodan.
And I'm Dishsoap.
And we are back. Today is April 22nd, 2025. We're on the 14.2 patch for TFT Cyber City, the second full patch of TFT for this set. And we're going to catch up and see how everything's going. So, Dishsoap, how has been the past week since we did this episode?
I don't know, it's been interesting. I haven't really streamed that much. Mostly because I'm like kind of busy with other stuff, and I don't think this patch is that good. So I've just decided to take a little break off streaming because I was going hard on the first week for like the just climbing and boot camp and all that stuff.
Yeah, actually, you won the box boot camp. How was that? It felt actually kind of easy for you? It didn't feel like anyone was really threatening you. I guess maybe Setsuko came close a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It was. I mean, it was pretty difficult before the B patch, but after like they sent all these Strat abusers into the dirt, like it was super easy. Because like all these guys knew, like three or 4 days out of the B patch, all these guys knew was how to play Strat, and they were just completely clueless on every single other line. And like I was never I'm like never a hard forcer, so whenever like that kind of stuff happens and like more comps are viable, like it's just over for them.
Yeah, I saw as you were like posting like a really good climb and you were number 1, rank 1. I caught the end of it and you were saying this is actually like a low top 4 rate for you. You're like, I know people are impressed with my climb, but you're like, this is actually like worse than I usually do. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah, like, you know, it felt like at the beginning of the set, a lot of people were struggling at the beginning because they just had a hard time dealing with all the strategists and Fast 9 stuff. And now this patch is really different. This patch, you know, heading into our meta-analysis section here to talk about it very briefly, but it does feel like it's mainly driven by, can you play Exotech? If not, should you be thinking about some kind of reroll line? And if not, I guess you're just trying to play for some kind of whatever conditional comp you have for a top 4. Would you say that's a pretty accurate statement?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's just some like really, really powerful things in the game that exist, and if you can't access those, you're going to be kind of sad.
Yeah, let's break it down from the very top here. So, Exotech, Hollowbow Zeri with Rageblade and Infinity Edge. Is this a thing where if you see this in your game, should you 100% forcing it, even if you see like 3 other people in your lobby also trying to play for it?
Oh, no, not really. Like, I mean, if you're in like the 3-way territory, your spot has to be like insane for other reasons, like either you're win streaking or you have really good items or like a good augment or something. But just 3-waying any comp just leads to like bad average placement across the board. There's actually a way you can test this. The thing you want to go to, it says unit traits items. You want to go to the tab that says counters.
Okay.
And this is like supposed to show you like what comps the like Zeri's bad against, but all it really shows you is how bad it is to be contested. So if you go to like one opponent, it'll like show you like your increase or decrease in placement for whatever people are playing. But usually if you go to like 3+ opponents and filter by that, you're gonna see that like people playing Mordekaiser, Sejuani, you see Sejuani has like a plus 0.5 delta, so it's like your Zeri is only gonna average a 4.5 if 3 other people are playing Sejuani, and I don't know if you've been in these high elo lobbies. That happens quite often. It's more like 5+ people playing Sejuani.
Yeah, she's the premier 4-cost frontliner that people are playing around, and even not even just in the Exotech, at least a full vertical Exotech. There's going to be one of our feature comps we're going to talk about today, which is the new Vexotech. We play Vex in that Exotech core. It's just a fun thing to say. I don't even know. A lot of people actually say it's not even that important to play Exotech. It's just a fun thing to say, though.
You can filter by like delta as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you see Zeri. Yeah.
Zeri makes it really awful if you're just being contested. Even just having 2 opponents makes it significantly worse. Although it looks like if you play it one-way contested, perfectly fine here.
Yeah, one-way contested for 4-cost comps has always been like just completely reasonable. Obviously if you get it 0-way, you're in an amazing spot, as you can see. But yeah, that's always something that you have to like keep in mind and like try to factor that in with like the strength of comps.
I like it. That's actually fun. Maybe that's probably the best way to splash in data episodes for us. Just show like one thing you can do it for, because there's just too many small things to go through. All right, let's talk about the other top compositions then as well. People are always saying, I think this reroll is the best reroll comp in the game. We put Slayers at the very top. What specifically do you think makes Slayers the best reroll comp here?
I think they just have like access to the most amount of good carries, and they're stable on 2 stars the longest, in my opinion. Mostly just because Jarvan is just like very, very broken. The unit the
He's
unit
so
should not
good.
be as good as he is. The thing is, like, you're not supposed to build like melee healing whatever items on him, but he's like so good it like makes it look good anyways. But like I promise you, if you just put like these like utility tank dog shit items on him, he'll do like pretty similar damage and then stay alive longer. Um, but yeah, he's kind of carrying like this entire line, just keeping the Vayne 2 Senna 2 stable for so long. And then you have pretty strong late game cap, like two, like if you get 3-star Jarvan and 3-star Senna, 3-star Vayne with like a Zed trio carry, it's like really, really hard to beat. Has a really good matchups into Brand in particular because Brand can't really one-shot the 3-star Slayers in the backline. Brand like and Ziggs at the same time, and then you can just heal up with Slayer. That's one of the more dominant matchups, but it also has true damage, so it can go through a lot of like the defensive oriented strategies. So lots of really good matchups, really, really strong units.
Yeah, and also it feels like a reroll comp that can actually win the game.
Yeah.
That's also another element of it because it can cap higher and higher since it feels like you can never really run out of carry space. You can always itemize Vayne, you can itemize Zed. I mean, that's often the duo that you look for. If you find a way to chase Senna 3, you get items on her. And that's assuming that you haven't added a 5 cost, right? People play Renekton, bite the Senna. He can put these gloves, right? Or if you add in Garen and add in mods on Garen. There's a lot of different ways you can keep capping higher, and that's like a pretty big contrast to someone like Twisted Fate, who I don't even understand what the cap board even looks like at this point. I feel like this composition, even if you hit the best possible scenario, you give it like 200 gold, it still somehow gets like a 4th place. I really don't like this reroll composition very much. We actually downgraded it recently.
I mean, it's just we've had this archetype in the past like 3 or 4 sets of the double Ginsu Gunblade with frontline, but he's really the only carry worth anything on the board. And then like he looks really, really strong, but then as people like optimize more stuff, he just kind of falls further and further behind.
Let's talk about the A tier then, and we'll talk about it. What's your favorite comp here within the A tier between all the stuff that we have?
I mean, this Vex comp was pretty fun when like no one knew about it, and then you could like load up into 4-2 with Vex 2 for free. But it's, I mean, people are just bored and looking for something fun to play because like I've like loaded up into ladder a few times, like a few games a day, and I've seen this like 4-way contested. This comp is not good enough. Like this comp is not good enough to justify that. Like honestly, it's on like the lower end of A tier in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty fun, like doing the true damage and then just having like a bunch of different carries. It's really like a team effort kind of board, which is always kind of fun to play.
Yeah. And one thing about it that I've come to discover, and I think you were actually a person that was talking about this as well, is that it's actually a much more flexible line. You don't actually have to play things like 5 Exotech, especially if you don't have like a good Exotech item. There's some ones that are kind of useless. So you can end up replacing units like Jhin and Jax. Let's say you hit Renekton. Renekton can go in over Jax. You're already playing the Divinicore core. And then you can slot in anything else. Let's say you hit Aurora or I don't know, some other really powerful units. And it kind of goes to back to where Vex was originally played. Vex at the very beginning of the set might have been some off meta like Divinicore carry with Zed as a duo. And you can kind of like hedge between those lines. So I actually do think this line has a lot more to it than just, well, it's just, the 5 Exotech with Vex. So I do think it's a really interesting comp that I think a lot of people want to learn about. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about it because that'll be our future comp for the last part of this episode. I want to talk about the other comps as well in the A tier. Do you think Shaco, he does seem to do okay in the stats. He does seem that it does seem like people play him at high elo. Where's the dish soap radar for Shaco? Because I don't think many people have heard your thoughts about it.
To me, this is like a artifact check kind of, or it's like, I'm like maybe okay to play it from Not Today, the augment that gives you Edgenite 2-1 with like 3 or 4 copies. But I'm kind of the opinion that this is like an artifact check. But the thing is, there are so many artifacts in this guy. I think he's like the number one artifact, like has the most artifacts he could use. Like you can use all the melee ones, and you can also use the range ones. So
You can also use some really weird ones. Like I think Ludens is actually pretty strong in the stats. I haven't actually played it myself.
That's a little bit of fake news.
Oh, is that fake news? Okay, but in the data, everyone's like, "Oh, you can put Ludens on Shaco." I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't look that bad."
I mean, you can put it on him, but it's not like I'm not gonna be like, "Oh shit, I got Ludens. It's time to play some Shaco." It's not that tier.
Okay.
But really strong ones are mittens, prowlers, and then all the ranged ones are really good. I think the best one's snipers.
And it's one thing that I saw in the stats. Again, I haven't really played much of it myself, but I think the build changes when Shaco gets range extension. It looks like Rageblade was a lot better on him
that's
when you
interesting.
play range extension.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but
I mean, it might be also just something. Either way, the build might change. I don't think you're because the whole point of range extension Shaco is you're not actually putting the kingpin bonus on him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't teleport, and so you don't need as much like defensive safety, whatever. Because some people are building like Edge of Night to try to keep him safe there.
That makes sense.
Oh, hold on one second.
Wait,
Taylor,
no, Dishsoap can totally hear this.
Oh, what's up?
Oh, hi.
Xfinity salesman just came to the door and knew who Dan was and was like freaked out. I was like, "Oh, my husband's a streamer. We have really good internet." And the guy was like, "Oh, what does he stream?" And I was like, "TFT." And he was like, "Wait, Teamfight Tactics? I love that game." And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "I like the guy who does like the breakdowns or the games." And I was like, "In too deep?" And he was like, "Yeah, what's that guy's name?" And I was like, "Frodan?" He's like, "Yeah, with the blue hair." And I was like, "This is his house." Anyway, he left his card. So
cool.
Hi, Jesse. Anyway, I want to go do my call.
Let's talk about Veigar, shall we? Veigar, they fixed his crit. So now Jewel Gauntlet is really good on him. Actually, there's a lot of debate about what his BIS was, because some people were like posting, I think like some EU players are posting like, "Oh, Jewel Gauntlet like guard breaker," and people are like, "No, don't build guard breaker. You go Nashers," and people are like, "No, you just play like the Gunblade stuff." What's BIS on Veigar now?
Bro, I don't care. I just build the items that make sense in the mid game, and I feel like if you're like actually trying to maximize this comp, that's what you should do, because this is not like a hit Veigar 3 with BIS and then win out with just Veigar. No, it's like you need to stabilize early and make it to these 5 costs. That's how you're gonna win with this comp. And to do that, you're gonna need to be playing you're gonna have to be a little less greedy with your items. Like for example, I don't greed Shojin versus blue buff. I don't greed Nashers. Like I think you want like a mana item, you make like a JG, a Gunblade, a Nashers, it's all fine. You can make a GS, you can make a Death Cap. I don't really think there is. I think the thing we have now like feels the best. I played this and it felt quite good, but I don't think this is something that should be graded, in my opinion.
Right. And I think that's also doubly so for other things, like you don't need Poppy 3 in this line. You don't actually even really need Shyvana. People actually played the strategist core as well. It's yet another AP comp that plays around like Echo and Nico a little bit in the mid game or even the late game. And so you have actually more options than having to reroll. I see a lot of people stay on 6. They hit Veigar. They see like, "Oh, I still have to keep rolling for those units." You can actually just push levels, because what matters is getting to Cyber Boss, getting to Viego.
Typically, you're going to be playing like Nico Echo Brand, like until you can make it to like usually you're fighting Kabuko on 9. So you're going to be playing like Kabuko Echo Brand in the meantime. And then yeah. But if you find Kabuko Viego early, I mean you can play whatever you want, honestly. You can even level for like 4 Bastion. Doesn't even matter.
I've seen Bastion. I've seen Bastion work. I mean, honestly, I've seen techies as well. If people like have a way to lean into that, that's what makes it really interesting. It's actually one of the more like open-ended mid parts of the composition, because you just really need Veigar's 4 Cyber Boss and the 5 costs. You can justify a bunch of different other things. I guess when we talk about the beats here, there's like not too many super exciting things, but is there anything that caught your eye about this patch?
Talk about Golden Ox.
Oh yes, actually, okay.
Some Gox.
Golden Ox. This is the number one question I always get about this patch, which is, how would you have Golden Ox and beats here? This is insane. I got like destroyed by it. It ran over this lobby. What's your read on Golden Ox right now?
I mean, it's pretty good if you're high rolling and hitting everything like early. and you have 6 gold knocks on 4-1 with 2-star 4 costs, and then you can steamroll a lobby really easily. I've seen that go first quite a few times. However, if you base your game plan around that without like being able to consistently hit, you are not gonna have a good time. It has a very high win rate, but a low average placement.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of Conquerors from the previous set in set 13, the Arcane set, because it felt like you need to be ahead and constantly leverage that lead to stay ahead. And then once at a certain, critical mass of just getting a bunch of resources, I guess effectively cashing out components and damage amp stacking, you'll just run away with the game. It's funny too, because the main win, the thing about this composition is that I think most people's win condition is like Annie 3. Just because it's like you have so much gold and you're just rolling forever for damage amp stuff, and she's uncontested. So I see people just go for that all the time and hit pretty consistently. So it's a very, very powerful top end, but I guess most people don't really know what the start looks like. Is it like if you have Graves and a Jarvan, do you need like an emblem? Like what's the opening pieces that make you feel like it can be a Golden Knox game?
The 2 games I played it and did somewhat successfully. One was just, I think I played like 3 games. 2 of them were trainer golems, which doesn't come up that much.
Okay.
But I think that is like the most common time you're going to see this comp. I think it's like the Garen encounter, the set, the one that gives you a golem with 3 emblems. I think if you get Gold Knox emblem, you could just hard force this, because it'll typically give you something else that you can like flex your board around.
Okay.
And then with that, you get to like pick like an econ augment early to make sure you hit all your board on like 4-1, and then you're gonna have a pretty good time scaling 6 Gold Knox on stage 4. But other than that, I played this with like Gold Knox emblem on 2-1, and it felt okay. But like I don't know, I natural Jarvan on stage 2, which like was a really, really big deal. I don't think I would have had that good of a time. But honestly, like if you can get like 4 Gold Knox in the mid game, you're farming like, and you're winning rounds, you're farming like 3 to 4 gold a turn, which is really good. So I'd say like an emblem is the most important thing. If you're not getting an emblem, you gotta have some way to get to Viego, which is easier said than done.
Yeah, Viego is extremely crucial. It doesn't matter if you have 6 Golden Knox, no Viego. The comp literally, I'm not even exaggerating, averages in the 6s. So it's pretty terrible. So make sure you have to find a way to get to that Viego spot. All right, let's close out the meta section here. I mean, quite frankly, we could just be here yapping about the conditions for it, but we pretty much laid it out there all in the tier list for you guys to check out. In the meantime, let's go ahead and hop over to some of our other fun segments, starting with Three's a Crowd. Okay, Three's a Crowd. I'm going to present groups of 3, and this just to help spark some conversations about the current meta. So let's start off with this group of 3. Dishsoap, buff, nerf, and keep Vayne, Veigar, and Twisted Fate.
I think you can probably buff TF. It might destroy low elo, honestly, but I think as the set goes on, I think this comp is going to get less powerful instead of more if it's not changed. So I think buffing it, while like it might not make sense like right now, he's like kind of doing okay. I think in the future he probably needs one. So we're definitely buffing TF, I think. I mean, we have Vayne ranked higher, so I mean, I would nerf Jarvan though out of Fate. I don't actually think Vayne herself is like anything that crazy. She has like the true damage aspect can be kind of annoying, but I don't think she's like that insane. So I wouldn't nerf Vayne the comp, but I would just nerf Jarvan, and then you can keep Veigar. He's I mean he's like fine. I would maybe like nerf the Cyber Boss augments. I think both of them are like extremely OP. But I think like Veigar himself is fine.
Yeah, and one thing about Vayne in particular, I've seen people hit Vayne 3, but then they just like push levels for the rest of the game, and they actually like really struggle. It's not just about Vayne, like you said, it's about team effort, which actually is kind of like a theme for most of the set. Given how much resources there are, a lot of people are angling for duo trio carry. So it's one of those things where it can't just be about Twisted Fate. It just can't be about Vayne. Can't just be about Veigar. So I really like what you said there. Okay, that was pretty easy. We've already talked about it as much for the meta. Let's go with another set here. Poppy, Jax, and Silas, but it's the hero augment. So it's button mash Poppy, adaptive strikes Jax, and Wolf Unchained Silas. Hit me with it.
I don't actually think any of these are that good. Mostly because
I guess.
I mean, I'll like expose myself. I haven't played a game of any of these since PvE. But I have seen some people click the Silas one, so I think that might be the best out of 3. I've seen 0 people click Poppy, and I think I've seen like maybe like one person click Jax, maybe. So based on that, I think we are nerfing Silas, buffing Poppy, and keeping Jax.
Okay.
But
Just
I like
popularity.
I mean, honestly, like none of these, like all of these probably need buffs or whatever. But honestly, I mean, I'm personally fine with these hero augments being bigger power level. I don't really think they're that fun. But that's just me.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I actually did see a Jax game earlier today. In fact,
I think I might know about this.
Emily Wang played a Jax hero augment game against the recommendation of her coach. T-Liz was coaching her. And she not only got to level 9, she hit a Renekton 3-star. So it's a game where it just became super high roll. And then she sold the Jax, and then she had Pandora's Bench. So she benched the Renekton with Pandora's Bench to get for a different 3-star 5 cost, and then lost to Azir and died in second place by accident because she was like in the middle of like, oh, like what 3-star 5 cost could I get? She wasn't paying attention to her board, so she actually died at 13 HP. That was the only time I saw the Jax hero augment. So yeah, maybe it's fine. Maybe just keep it. Okay, third set. This one has to do with prismatic augment. We got Wandering Trainer 2, Hard Commit, and Flexible. All things that gives you emblems or emblem direction at the beginning of the game.
Oh, sorry, I zoned out. Wandering Trainer, Hard Commit, Flexible. I think Hard Commit's the worst out of these. It's like the easiest one, I guess. So it's like, honestly, this one might have the best average placement, just because like it gives you it like handholds you. But I think it's the weakest power level.
Okay.
I think Flexible can be insane, especially like if you're in some kind of portal where you're getting guaranteed econ, because the problem with Flexible is that you're not going to be strong in the early game, because one random emblem against other prismatics you're likely going to be loose streaking, and then loose streaking without an econ augment, like you're just going to be behind anyways. Like that's the main problem with Flexible. But if you can guarantee econ from other places, it's quite good. But I wouldn't really say it's OP. And then I don't know, Wandering Trainer is probably. Oh wait, is this the prismatic one?
Yeah, we're comparing prismatic emblem starts.
Okay, I think the gold one is very good. I think the prismatic one is a bit less good, but the thing is, like, it gives you the 6 gold, so you're like making all your interest breakpoints early, which is really, really nice about it. And a lot of the time it just wins you the game for free if you get like +2. So it's probably I think this one is better than Flexible on like your default portal, but I think Flexible is better on econ portal. So I guess we will buff Hard Commit, keep Flexible, and nerf Wandering Trainer.
Wow, that was not what I was gonna expect you to choose. Partially because I feel like I've heard you hate on Wandering Trainer, so I wasn't sure if that was gonna be the case.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but the thing is, I'm not really a big fan of any of these augments. I click these very, very sparingly.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, that was a really good set and good discussion. Let's go ahead and hop over to Pop Quiz. All right, Dishsoap, Pop Quiz time. Let's see what you got. Are you ready for question number 1?
Yeah, sure.
All right, this one is this one's a pretty easy one to start off with. At least it's like a simple one. What is the most popular 2-cost 3-star unit in the game in play rate? So what is the most commonly made 3-star 2-cost in the game?
That's interesting. I want to say it's like Rost, because Rost sees play in Vayne and TF. I'm trying to think of anything else he's playing both or in others. Like there's a lot of 2-cost that he's playing other comps, but not really as 3 stars. Like Echo sees, I mean, no one's 3-star Echo. I don't know. Like sometimes, like I mean, I don't think it's Karner. I'm pretty sure it's Rost. I'm gonna go with Rost.
Okay, Ross is pretty up there, but the answer is Vayne. It's just Vayne at 7.5%, which is really high, actually. If you just look at the actual population of it, Vayne is insanely popular. This is all, of course, Masters Plus. We try to take that from the criteria. No worries. Let's go to question number 2. What is, speaking of Vayne, this is adjacent to Vayne, what is the best artifact on Jarvan in Slayer reroll?
Oh. I'm pretty sure it's. Oh wait, no, I'm actually pretty sure it's the shield one, Unending Despair. But I feel like the stats on him are probably gonna be wonky because there's just not that much sample, and there's so many artifacts he can like theoretically use. But I think it's Unending.
That is correct. Unending Despair at number 1. Can you guess number 2? Just out of curiosity. This is just maybe for a bonus point. I'll give you a bonus point. How about this?
Okay, I don't actually think this is the answer. But I've seen this pop off so hard. It's the Silver Mare Jarvan. If they don't have enough like burst damage, like you just like go infinite. So I'm gonna guess Silver Mare, but I don't actually think it's the answer.
No, it is Silver Mare.
Oh,
That's also
really?
correct. It is number 2, and it's actually really funny because well, technically it's tied with Mittens, but the sample size for Silver Mare is way higher. Mittens is like nothing. But Unending Despair and Silvermere Dawn are really impressive on Jarvan and Slayer reroll. So just some fun tech for anybody that wants to open up some artifacts and you're like, I'm screwed. Like, what can I do? Unending Despair Jarvan is a beast. And yeah, carry Jarvan with Silvermere.
Yeah, Unending Despair is just kind of overpowered the set. It's also like broken on Braum if like Braum is ever like buffed for whatever reason, or if you're just playing TF. It's also like just fine on Mord.
It was really broken on Kabuko before they gutted him too, but I don't think that is the case anymore, just because Kabuko is so much weaker now.
It's pretty good on Garen, honestly. Garen's shield is massive.
I can see that too. I can see that as well. All right, question number 3. We're staying in the artifact territory. Suspicious Trenchcoat has been buffed this patch. So who's the best holder now?
I think someone told me it was Jarvan. But it also might be Rengar. I've heard the like the Edge of Night Sterak's Trenchcoat build is back on Jarvan and Rengar. So I'm gonna guess Jarvan just because I think Jarvan's better, but let's just say Jarvan.
Jarvan is not it. But I have seen what you're talking about. I've seen a lot of people play it. It's actually really good on Viego.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, Viego is like a phenomenal holder of it. And then the second place is the build that you're talking about on Rengar and Shaco and Jarvan. So, but you basically named like 2 of the top 3 or 4 there, which is interesting. I didn't know that it was good on Shaco. I actually haven't tried it. Does he keep the AD when he splits? So you have 3 Shacos that actually can keep all his stacks. If so, that would be a really powerful interaction, but I've never tried it or seen it.
I'm not sure, but like if you're playing like 6 Slayer, you're probably getting a bunch of AD like regardless of his stacks.
Okay.
But I don't know if it like copies the stats exactly. But I will say about Trenchcoat is like I think you like literally need to hard force the Edge Knight Sterak's.
Yeah.
I don't think the item is that powerful without those interactions, but after the HP buff, I think you're just getting value out of those items.
A much better artifact this patch, that's for sure. It was like by far the worst one, but now it's decent if you have the right setup for it. Okay, in Vexotech, this is going to be the thing we talk about in a little bit here. Vex with 3 items. What is Vex's best Radiant item? If you have an upgrade.
Yeah. I haven't looked into the stats myself, but this one kind of just makes sense if you know like how the unit works. And this is the one I've seen other people build. It's Radiant Gunblade. Because of her passive that turns healing into damage, and then if you just have a bunch more healing, you're gonna be doing a bunch more damage. And then it also has like base AP, like a lot of base AP, which helps. So it might not be the answer, but like literally everyone in my game with the Radiant upgrade on Vex picked Gunblade, so like they must be looking at some stats. So.
I like it. Trusting by committee. That is correct. Stop building Radiant Blue buff on Vex, unless you can build both. But Radiant Gunblade is the best. I actually believe that it's not that blue buff is bad, though, by the way. It still looks good. It's just that part of blue buff, Radiant Blue buff, that's kind of awkward, is that you actually get a bunch of AD as part of that item, and Vex doesn't really care about the 50 AD, so you lose some efficiency. she loves the extra healing stats because the way it works with their passive on Retribution.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't look at the stats when I did this, but like I saw Wit's End, like it was like I think Wit's End's like 35% healing. I was like, oh shit, that must be broken on Vex, 35%. But no, it just doesn't work like at all with the Wit's End healing does not work with the passive.
Oh wait,
so
really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be like her GMS artifact if it did, because it's way more healing than like any other item. But yeah, sad.
Funny enough, I'm looking at artifacts on Vex. It looks like there's no good artifacts on her.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like DFG or
not even like Mana Zane or Death DFG or anything like that.
I think DFG is fine as like your third item, but
sure.
Yeah, she just doesn't like her build is when units builds are set in stone around like normal items like blue buff and Gunblade. It's kind of hard to justify like an artifact in the third slot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think if Witsend actually worked with her passive, and I feel like it should. It just says healing. It doesn't say Omnivamp. It would be very, very good, but it just doesn't work. So I was kind of sad. I should have just checked the stats.
Sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question. This is a classic. Rank these from best to worst. Rank these verticals from 1, 2, 3 in terms of their best win rate. 6 Boombot, 6 Golden Ox, and 7 Syndicate.
I mean, 7 Syndicate's the one that needs +2. I mean, surely 7 Syndicate is a higher win rate than 6 Golden Ox, man. Like if honestly, I'm like a little hesitant about like 7 Syndicate does need +2. It's like as close as you can get to a prismatic trait without being a prismatic trait. So I'm going to guess 7 Syndicate as the highest, and then Golden Ox, and then Boombot. This is win rate, right?
This is win rate, yeah. Like how they go first.
I mean, since it's win rate, I feel like you might be tricking me, but like I mean, there's no way. Like 7 Syndicate's quite strong. I was playing it. I forgot exactly the setup, but like I was playing some like giga high tempo, high cap legendary setup, like level 10 double combat, like the works, and some guy I was going against had like not the best 7 Syndicate setup. He was still level 8. Just he had like 3-star bomb, 3-star TF, like all that stuff, but like he was level 7 or level 8, and I was pretty consistently losing to him. So I think 7 Syndicate should have the highest win rate.
All right, that is correct. 7 Syndicate, 6 Golden Ox, and then 6 Boombot. 6 Boombot was actually pretty high up there. It was in the 20s. That's why I thought it was pretty interesting. I think people underrate this trait a lot, although part of it is when people like super high roll fiddle lines. So when they have fiddle sticks and they have like the setup for it. But in general, I think people really don't understand how powerful 6 Boombot can be under the right circumstances.
Oh yeah, the Boombot synergy is like high key broken as fuck. Just like what it does, the units in the units of the trade are just trash.
Yeah,
like Cho'Gath is
good.
Yeah, the trade is amazing. It's like the best mod you can get, I think. And it's a pretty good like it's like kind of a good emblem, but the problem is you still have to play these units. Like Cho'Gath is just terrible. After, like he was bad before, and then like he's even worse after they're like rework or whatever. Like I mean, I just don't like this unit. And Fiddle's not great, and then got some just other. I mean, Urgot's whatever. I think got some low cost.
He just flamed everyone. I mean, Urgot's okay, I guess. Pulling him off of Aurora feels pretty decent, especially if he prints you a free item.
Yeah, the units are just not very good. Is the problem, but the synergy is very overpowered.
Interesting. I wonder if they can ever reconcile that. I'm just waiting for the Boombot patch to eventually just be stupid.
It'll. I think all it requires is Cho'Gath to be a good unit, and I think that might be happening next patch.
All right, looking forward to it. All right, and the last major section for today is we're gonna do crash course, where we're just gonna talk, just a little bit more in depth on how to play a composition just from multiple angles. Today, the most popularly requested by our Patreon subscribers, thanks to everybody who supports TFT Academy through that, is Vexotech, the new Vex plus Exotech core that we've actually just been kind of talking around a lot for this episode. But let's break it down, because I think what people have recognized is that the comp at its end game state can actually do really well with Dishsoap. A lot of people can get to Vex. If they can get to Vex 2 with Sejuani 2 and they can get some of the 5 costs in, they understand that's powerful. But some items like Gunblade can be like really sus early. And if you don't have like Morgana and you don't have like a good AP opener for it, how do you actually get into the Vex line? I think a lot of people struggle in stage 2 and stage 3. So in your opinion, what are some good openers that tells you, man, this is a juiced Vex spot?
If you can somehow get into the spot where you're actually like win streaking around, like say Morgana and Gragas, and you can actually like force blue buff, say on like, I don't know, like a 5 component opener or the Anvil opener or whatever, you can play it thin. It's a little sus though, because like she's kind of hard tied to Biss. So typically you're going to be playing this from like loose streak lines. So you need to be like hard prioring Cypher. I think she is a very common and good way to play Cypher. That's like the main thing.
Okay.
Like high econ portals, econ augment is what you're gonna require, because like her items, unless you're like playing around like a really really high roll like Morgana, like Gragas Mordekaiser opener, which is super rare, you're gonna need to be getting econ from some other place. So econ augment Cypher is the main way. I think if you're like trying to tempo this comp and like mixed streak, it's going to go really badly, and I would not recommend playing it.
Okay, interesting. So loose streak comp is, at least you're angling from loose streak. Are there any 2-1 augments that make you think about it? I think one that people pointed out was like this composition can use board directors really well on Vex. Is there anything else that makes you feel like, man, this has to be a really good Vex opener?
I mean, Sated Spellweaver is kind of insane in this comp, but I don't think you like see this on 2-1 and be like, oh, bet it's a Vex game.
Sated Spellweaver.
Sated Spellweaver. Because like the shield like keeps her like 100% HP, and you need to read like if she takes any damage, you like lose a bunch of your damage. But I mean, Board of Directors gives like a Morgana and a Ross, which can help your opener a lot. And I think the Salmon also just gives like a bunch of like sats for free, which is really really good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm usually just playing this from Cypher or Econ Augment or Econ Portal. I think like trying to play this as a tempo comp is a little sus, just because it's kind of hard to it's really hard to streak around Blue Buff Gunblade. I mean, if you're high rolling your Veigar spot, maybe, but the thing is, like, if you're high rolling your Veigar spot to a point, you just play Veigar. So it's like you have to be in like this weird place where it's like you have enough money to go fast side hit the Vex, but you also have like tempo. Like I don't know. I the only times I played this was from like AP Cypher loose streak mostly.
Okay. What's your item priority after it? So I'm guessing the first prio is make sure you have blue buff and gunblade. After that, what is item number 3 that you're thinking about? Is it frontline, or are you finishing 3 out of Vex, or is it a utility?
The third item of Vex is super flexible. I think Guardbreaker is the best, but GS and Deathcap are both really really good. You can usually make one of those. That's so many different components. Like you're like there's no way you're gonna miss all 3 of them. I kind of just spam tiers on all the carousels, because like tier Sejuani is just really good, and you're always trying to go blue buff anyways. I think like Vow is like it's really hard to make Vow, because like I mean you might want Shiv, you definitely need blue buff
and blue buff and Vow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but so I'm just spamming tier whenever I can get it. I've never like you always just keep as many tiers as possible. But you do need a strong front line for this comp. Typically, like just Sedge stunning is not going to be enough. So I kind of like building duo tank, but you can also definitely go for like Varus items and then move them to Aurora like game or something. Definitely a comp that can use a bunch of items.
Okay. Is there positioning nuance to it outside of the usual stuff? Like obviously he wants Sejuani to stun, but we see Vex position, for example, like kind of somewhere in the center. Is there anything in particular? Are you ever cornering Vex for her casts?
I think in theory you position her where she takes the least amount of damage, because like even her just taking any chip damage will just like drastic. I mean this unit's just weird. Like you like it's so much of her damage is this overhealing thing. So if you're not getting that, you're like just losing a bunch of value. But like you also kind of want her in the middle to like get some splash damage. But the thing is, like middle is like ground zero for like the splash damage. Like you can think about like Viego and all that stuff. I haven't really thought about this much, but I can actually see Warner being better, and like you like shift your other backline away to like just keep her isolated. But there's some stuff that'll just hit her anyways, like say Brand or Ziggs or whatever. So I don't know. It's
I didn't look this up. I probably should. Minute TFT might show us the highest win rate hex. Any guesses before I click it?
I actually think it's probably the hex we have around, or maybe the one mirrored on the left.
Okay, and the answer is it's actually exactly D5. Oh wow, good call us. That's just based off of intuition experience. So that's fun.
Or maybe it just shows that the TFT Academy player base is just the best.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's statistically proven. Any variations or extensions of this composition that people should keep an eye out for? I think one we just talked about, which was pretty common, Renekton, Aurora, that can just replace these two Exotech, especially if you don't have a good Exotech item. The best Exotech item in the stats actually is Chassis, because it just helps reaffirm your front line. It's pretty good on Mord in particular. Is there anything else? Are there other variations that you think about this comp? Because I think you can slot in some other things here.
Yeah, the 3/5 costs you want to look out for are Viego, Renekton, and Aurora. You see 2 out of 3 of any of those, and you're out of 5 Exotech immediately.
Oh wow!
Dropping. Yeah, I mean the problem is if you don't hit Renekton, it's like a little sus. But I think unless if your 5 Exotech item is not that good, you can play like Aurora plus Shyvana over Jax, and it's fine. But typically, you're just looking for Renekton ASAP, and then you play Renekton plus Viego or Aurora, and then you're super strong. And then ideally, you're playing both on level 9, and that's like usually the cookie cutter board you play. But I mean, no one's gonna complain if you have like a Zac 2 or Garen 2 with items.
Sure.
That can fit in like the Aurora slot.
If you high roll something like Urgot, let's say you roll down, you hit Urgot too. I've seen someone play Vex and Urgot. Is that okay, or is that like way too expensive? Like the juice ain't worth the squeeze there.
I think if you have decent Urgot items, it can be worth it. Yeah, like the problem is Urgot's just like a little bit weaker than like Viego or Aurora mostly. So it's just kind of hard to justify him. Like he's a pretty good pull off Aurora. If you want to do that, but unless you're hitting like Urgot 2 and like everything else 1, it's like you're probably not gonna play him.
Okay.
The thing is you actually never drop Morgana. We didn't really discuss this, but
yeah. People always suggest cutting Morgana whenever I was playing this line.
So the thing about Morgana is like she looks pretty unassuming, but she's 10 AP whole team, but she's 20 AP to the Divinicore units, including Vex. You are not dropping the unit that gives your main carry 20 AP. That's just not something you do. So, and then like the AP for the rest of the team is like not bad either. So you like basically never want to drop Morgana. She always goes on the board. And you're just like building the 5 cost around, and the first thing you drop is the 5 Exotech.
And you're not giving Morgana items ever though. I mean, she can item hold, but like by late game, even though she's valuable, she's not supposed to hold anything.
I've seen people like take Moonlight and play around her. It didn't look that good, but
Moonlight Morgana. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if you, I mean, it makes sense in theory. If you get the Renekton, you're not the only one cost you play is Morgana, and if you have a bunch of extra items, it can be good. But I think it's just better to like save your items for like the 5 costs and the Vex and stuff, and take a different combat augment.
Not yet. Remember what they did last set in set 13? Morgana 3 and then Zyra 3 got buffed like crazy. They became pretty powerful 3-star, 4-star carries. Yep. So maybe we'll get that patch. And then if so, you can duo the Morgana and Vex in that situation. So not right here. All right. Any final miscellaneous tips before we wrap this up and do our question of the day?
I guess the main thing is just like if you're playing against the Vex, try to find a way to splash damage it. Like I can't really stress enough how much damage you lose by like even taking like 300 damage on your Vex. I think it's like a 30 or something % damage increase, and it's like true damage, so it's even more than that. It's just kind of disgusting. So if you damage the Vex early, it's kind of impossible to lose. So
and you say Viego and like a couple of these units are like the fastest way to damage it.
The bet like one of the better ways is actually Ziggs, because Ziggs can like you can like line up the column to hit the Vex. Most people don't. Okay. Most people don't play around it. It's actually possible to play around it if you just like misalign your front line and your like you put your Vex like not behind your tank or whatever. Like leave a gap open, you can dodge it there. But most people don't do that. Interesting. Like against this position we have right here, you can just put Ziggs on the exact same column of everything, and then just snipe the Vex at the start of the fight.
I like it. I like it. Cool. And then my final tip is I think a lot of people are going to really tunnel on Sejuani, but if you have Mordekaiser to Gragas 2, you can actually still hold the mid game, and you should expect that given how popular Sejuani is at the moment. So don't feel like you have to all in on Sejuani. Mord 2 can be really, really reliable. And the whole point is just stall enough for your Vex with the Gunblade. So that's something that I see a lot of people misunderstand. They have Mord 2, but no items on him. It definitely puts some items on him. All right, and with that, let's do our question of the day. This one comes from Arcean, one of our patron supporters. Thank you so much. He asked, when do you normally take forward thinking or golemify? I just saw 2 people take forward thinking and 1 person take golemify when we were 5-way contesting Exotech. Is that correct?
Hard to say it's correct without knowing the spot, but they're similar and like they're taken in similar but different spots. Forward thinking is typically something you want to be taking if you're like healthy and you're like either want to skip level 8 or roll a bunch of go and hit a contested comp. Like the ideal spot to take this is if you're already level 6, say like you leveled on 3-1, you're already level 6 and decently healthy and rich. You can take this, skip level 9, be pretty healthy, be pretty happy, and then you can play either go really, really deep on 8 or like go 9 either the same turn or 2 turns later. But Golemify is a bit weirder because it kind of nukes your economy. So you still want to be taking this if you're rich and ideally healthy, but like honestly, Golemify usually wins out. Like it doesn't. I don't know if it wins out stage 3, but if you hit like 1 or 2 good natural shops after you take the Golemify, you're gonna be probably strongest in lobby for a bit. So you don't actually need that much HP to take it. You just need money. So typically this is something you want to be taking on econ encounters first and foremost, or if you have like a really, really strong econ augment, for example. But you also want to be taking this like if you're like benches and your board is really, really big.
Quick tip about Golemify as well is that if you have ways to make your board even beefier, let's say you have 2 bruiser in and you're holding like 2 extra bruisers on the bench, you want to put that onto the board so you can get that HP bonus, so you can get more golem stats. It's a small thing, right? But it's something that might end up swinging 1 or 2 fights.
Sin is also big because it like scales all of the AD of your entire board. So and then that goes onto the golem. So you want to be playing as much AD and HP as possible, like on your active board, and not have it on your bench. I mean, it still takes the stats of the units on your bench, but if you have any traits that will give AD or HP, you want to have those traits active on your board, like and the units that benefit on it.
Demon for that very reason as well.
Yeah. Like that's when it can be good, but the thing is, you really cannot be playing contested from Golemify. That's just like not very good unless you're getting like really, really lucky and you natural like the contested forecast after it, because like say in this example with Zeri, I think a golem could like you could be super stable on Zeri 1 with Golemify just because it gives you so much frontline and power. But if you don't find that Zeri early, you might lose a bunch of HP and then like never be able to find 2-star because you're getting contested. A very common line I actually see from Golemify is actually Aphelios, just because he's so uncontested and because you already like nuked your economy. It's just going to be way more efficient to roll for like him as an uncontested unit versus Zeri as a contested unit. But you should really be just like playing around your like items and taking like the most uncontested line possible. But yeah, that's kind of what I think about it. The thing about this is not what you asked about, but there's also this augment Dumbify, which is pretty similar, but I think like different in how the games actually play out. You kind of want to take it in the same spots where like you have like a really, really high HP bench. It doesn't like do any damage or scale the ED, but it's still a bunch of frontline. The problem with Dumbify is that it doesn't actually make you that strong in the midgame because you're just not gonna have any damage. The golem will do a ton of damage and carry your stage 3. So with Dumbify, I think you need like an HP lead. I don't actually think you need an HP lead for Golemify because it's gonna be carrying you. But if you don't have a big HP lead with Dumbify, you probably fall pretty far behind.
Man, that's a really good summary. I think That's really good tips overall, because I think a lot of people take it from spots they shouldn't be taking it, but they want to. I think it's fun. I think Golem is actually a really fun augment to click, because you get to stack the Golem higher and higher. Also, I think another thing too, if you're like at a lower level, let's say you're just getting started into TFT, intermediate, somewhere between plat emerald range. I think if you are also playing a scaling carry, it's really easy to take something like Golemify, because you're not going to get punished as hard for your econ, and you have time to stack things like Rage Blades. Because that's ultimately what Rage Blade carriers want. They just want like a front line that allows them to ramp up those 2 Rage Blades. So if you ever have a build like that for any composition, whether you're playing Ophelio, Zeri, Vayne, who else is a Rage Blade carry in this in this meta? You could probably justify
TF. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just like an easy, like level 1 understanding of how to like click it from more broader applications for anybody that's just getting started. All right. And with that, that is the end of our episode. The next one we'll do will be next week after the patch for 14.3. I don't think they're doing a B patch this week, right?
Nah.
Okay. So next time we talk, will probably be 14.3. And also, Dishsoap will have won the first Tacticians Cup. So, you feeling ready for this weekend?
We'll see.
I think literally this is exactly what happened. I was like, well, Dishsoap's going to win his second world championship. Just like, yeah, we'll see. We'll try our best. And look what happened.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about it. I don't want to jinx anything. But
fair enough. I
don't know. I might show up and drop a nuke. We'll see.
Looking forward to it, buddy. Thanks to all the people that support us on Patreon. Make sure to check out that new section of guides on TFT Academy as well. We got some great content out there, not just on tier list, but also putting out guides to help show you guys how to play around items, how to do some augments, also some more in-depth comp stuff. So, for example, this past week we released Anima Squad Guide, a guide on how to reroll Slayers. So check that all out, TFTAcademy.com/guides. That's it from us from Study Hall this episode. From Frodan and Dishsoap, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.